let's see what we can mess up now. And to save somebody the trouble of commenting that I probably shouldn't pick up a wrench and even start this project, you're right. But anyway, I'm not going to listen to you. So here we go. Here we have my book, and I've got my wiring diagram. Now, the wires seem to be good so far. I haven't tore apart the headlight because I think that's where these wires are. And the reason I believe that is because a Honda once had a broken headlight and there was a bunch of wires in it. But it looks like there's plug-ins here for the headlight, which will be able to put the harness will be separate for this, the body, or separate from the body. There we go. And the turn signals and the backup light, not backup light, the tail light. There we go. Tail light and the license plate light are separate. And then there's a plug right there for the horn switch, which is good. The headlight switch seems to be, I don't see any indication. Oh yeah, there's a plug for headlight switch and a plug there, so that's good because that's all in the handlebars. So that makes me feel pretty good because so far, as much as I've looked, the only thing that looks bad is the wires in the chassis itself. And that's, I have the handlebar wires for the switches, but they're somewhat different than what I have, and I like the ones I have better. So here's what I have. Appears to I'll get that headlight torn apart and look and see. Hopefully this is, I can't imagine that they switched too much on the wiring harnesses, but maybe they did. Hopefully not, at least to the point where I can't use this. So this would be the headlight, and I don't know. This probably for the, I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure it out. I'm going to guess this goes back to the tail light because it's long. This is probably, one of these is for the charging system and one of them is for the battery and the voltage rectifier. So rectifier and fuse. Okay, so ignition, it's green, yellow, and purple. Well, I don't have green, yellow, and purple on any of these. So anyway, so if they'll plug in and get the circuit completed to where they need to go, then I'm really going to be happy. So what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and clean this up. Wash it off a little bit with a rag and some water or something, and make sure that all my connectors are good. I mean, as far as good, I mean no corrosion in them all. If I need to stick a little brush in there and clean them up, I will. Spray them with some electrical contact cleaner or something, and then we'll get the headlight torn apart and see if things match up color-wise. Headlight, I just opened it up and took a look in there. Mud dauber nest. I went ahead and cleaned this wiring harness up. A little simple green rag. Something I'm noticing on this is these connectors. They're dark. I sprayed it with contact cleaner, and then I have this little brush that I'm not even sure where I got it, probably Harbor Freight, but I cleaned them out, and it looks to me like some of these have gotten warm, That it looks like it's been hot, which makes me think that wasn't making a good connection at one point in the first machine that was in. So I think what I'll do is probably replace those if I don't think I'm going to get a good connection. I do have some dielectric grease. I may try to put in there and see. Now I got them clean. It just could have been they weren't making good connection because they were dirty. But they just may have been loose and causing a problem. So, and I'm wondering if that's going to be the case in here, because I see some hot spots on that wire. I'm seeing here some indications of heat on this, and it appears that it would be right up here near the fuel tank. I'm guessing actually probably right up above the engine. That's probably where it is. So this heat probably came from the engine. So I may try to come up with a heat shield if that looks like that's going to continue to be an issue. But anyway, so now I've got to try to figure out what's in here and see if it's going to match up, if I have like for like wires, like for like wiring harness. So I'll look at what I got here and my wiring diagram, and I'm really hoping that it's like for like, where this green one here goes to the headlight. Now, we have a gray one goes to the headlight, looks like. So I'm hoping that, and this blue one is sticking out here, that one was just loose. So there's a dark blue here. I'm hoping that that's that. So I'm just gonna go through and see what colors I have, if they match up. Interesting here. Look at that. It's like this. Here. It's a kind of a cool way to splice all three wires. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Is I'll see what I have there. Hopefully it's the same. I started looking through these wires, and I believe all the colors for the most part are the same. So I think what I'm going to do is, there's room back here in the back. I'm going to pull this through, this wiring harness in there, and bring it out a ways, and then I can wire by wire take the blue ones right here, which indicate that it's the left turn signal, which on the book it shows it's blue, and unplug and then plug into here and go piece by piece until I have them all in place. And then if that works, it should be correct. And if I wind up with some odd color, let's say that doesn't match and I got something left over, then well, cross that bridge then. So I'm gonna fish this through there and then I'm gonna back to it. Here's my new wires, or new wiring harness, replacement wiring harness. And as you can see in the back, there's a hole with a grommet around it. So I just took the tail end of it, the tail light end, tied a string on it, and to keep these all bundled together, and pulled them through, and then just kind of on the back side right here, just made sure that it kind of came out where this one does, the old one, and underneath the one that goes to the speedometer and wherever that one goes to. So, and see, as you can see, this is kind of bad. So that's and I've left it stick out quite a ways here, so I can bring these up and disconnect and see what I'm doing. And so I'm going to start matching stuff up, and I slap these vice grips on there because it keeps wanting to fling around out of the way, wobble back and forth to that way for some reason. So okay, I just did the first set, and I paid attention to how these wires were plugged together. So light blue, and I had a light blue, and if you peek under there's a light blue under that black, and this goes to the turn signal, and according to this, the light blue goes to turn signal. So this is my old one, so I just followed basically this one went there, and these two went down here. Whatever they go to, they go to the speedometer and here and to the switch. And so now that one's out of the way, so I'm just going to do the same thing for the other colors, and hopefully when I'm done, then I'll have them all out of the way. So that's my plan. So orange, I have orange, and I have orange here, and up on my dot wiring diagram, orange goes to that turn signal. So here is, we finished the first other turn signal. Now here is this one. So it's going to go like that. Maybe. Yep. And so far they've been snapping in really secure, which makes me happy. And I know they're making a good electrical connection, and they're not corroded on this end. So now, here's my main wire coming in, and here's my other orange wire going somewhere. Probably to the switch. So now, there's my two completed. Blue and orange. So that's how I'm going to continue. Okay. Our red wires, I've got part of them moved, and on this one goes to the horn, and it's melted. So I took the horn off loose, and it's, I'd say this might have been an overheat issue on the wiring, but the purple wire and the red one come up and they're melted. So I need to rebuild that piece of wire there, red and purple, on my wiring harness to make a new wiring harness to the horn. I don't know if I can make this horn work or not, so I'll probably just leave two wires hang down here for now, so I can get all this kind of straightened up. But that looks like kind of a mess. And right here I had to put a new one of these on, because it was bad. Oh, and also the brake switch, which color are those? Front brake, yellow and green. So there's a green with a yellow tracer on it right here, and I've read somewhere somebody was having trouble with their brake lights flashing constantly. And when I plugged these two brake light switches in, right here, and the green wires with the yellow trace, one of them just you could wiggle it with your finger. It was really loose. So I took one of those and squeezed it until it wouldn't vibrate. So I would say that whoever was having that issue on the internet, that would be your problem. So far everything's fitting tight except for that and then this one. So now I gotta rebuild that. And I think I will try to see if I can find a good piece of tubing to put around it. It may not happen at this moment, but when I pull the old harness out, I may be able to get something that'll work. So yeah, I cut these off on the back side. I was poking them back through the hole so I could fish them out, but I couldn't tell what was going on because everything was melted together, so I just cut this here is the horn. So I think there's a blue wire in there too, and I gotta try to figure that out. But anyhow, so we're getting closer. Definitely got hot. So now on this side here, on this manual, or this gives me a little bit better because it's got blue and purple and light blue different, so I can kind of figure out what I'm missing here on this mess. So that blue that wasn't plugged in, it was just in here. There's another blue. There's a dark blue, and then there's your light blue. There's two different blues. So the dark blue looks like in that other wiring diagram is a engine kill switch. And it goes into this little wire here, which runs up and then up. I don't know if you can see it or not, right here, into the handlebars. So then it comes up here into here, and this is that slider switch is broken. So I'm gonna guess that it was unplugged because that switch is broken, but I don't know that. But it's hooked up now, and the only thing that I have different here is I did not have a purple wire. I have a white one with a brown stripe. I used to have some purple wire, but I can't find it. So I'm gonna have white as a purple, and then I got red. And I don't really care for the way that they run the horn, where you always have hot wires in here to the horn and then you ground it, but that's okay. It's a moped, it's not a car. Alright, so I think for now I'm going to put this back, close this up, knock the dirt off of that, and then put this light bulb back in so I can figure out what I'm going to do next, which is following this on out and figure out what mess we've got down there. There's a black wire here in my new wiring harness that I don't find any black wires anywhere. And I look here on this wiring diagram, and this is for a 79 model, and this is a 78 unit. But the only black, just BK, that I find is right here. I saw it over here on the ignition. Yeah, right there. the spark plug wire. And then blue, blue, blue. Light green, red, red, green. And maybe that's a BK. I don't know. No, brown. Brown. So I'm not seeing engine off as brown. And over here on this one, there is no black. Engine off. Up here, the purple goes to that, which is ground, which would be actually in the handlebars probably. So knowing that the wheels say 1981 over there painted on them, those mag wheels say 1981, I'm gonna guess that this wiring is a little different. This wiring harness might be a little different, but with that, I don't know. So we'll figure it out. If something don't work, we'll go back and try to figure out where that black should go. I'm gonna go ahead and close it up. Flipped it over like a bicycle because it's got pedals. And before, see that little loop right there? I made sure I run that through there because that's where the old one went. Keep it out of line or out of trouble, and run this up here. It's just laying there in the old one, so it's clear that which one goes where. As far as the wires, no mystery here. We've got yellow and green hanging out over on this side. I'm guessing they go to the charging circuit on the engine. Be my guess. And then here's this blue one. Kind of looks blue. So that has to be these three. Kind of a light green and the yellow. And then that bluish looking, so that's that. That's easy. And over here, got a grommet. And that grommet, we have these wires worried through there. And then connected to that rectifier. What that does, you probably already know. This changes the alternating current from the dynamo on that engine charging system to DC, sort of close to DC. It won't be perfect DC form, but then it can charge the battery. I need to read and see how to check to make sure these are good. I know you put a meter on them and check one way or the other for continuity, if I recall. I don't know. So I'll do that. Then our taillight stuff runs down. That looks like it won't be hard. Little clip thing there. Yeah, there's another one. Just run under those. Pop up through that grommet behind here. So I'll probably have to take that light off, but I'll deal with that in a while. So I'll get this dealt with here and on down the road. We're gonna have it wired soon. I'm sure you folks already noticed this when I was goofing around here a minute ago, that these colors don't match down here, and there's a wad of tape right there. And what do we see when we look on here? So here's where we're at. Okay, yeah, there's the battery, which we don't have yet. But there's a fuse that goes to red. And light green comes in the rectifier. And that would be the positive side, I believe, with that little arrow. And then looks like it comes out red to a fuse, and then red to the battery, and then green is the ground. So we have no fuse. I'm assuming the battery, this would be the battery. It's melted. So I'll go ahead and get these wires through like they should be. And we're going to have to get a fuse because I'm guessing the battery sits under here, I suppose. I don't know. And there's supposed to be a flasher for the somewhere. So I'm gonna have to. I'll get these wires run through, and then we'll have to mess around and figure out what we're gonna do with fuses and such. I looked in the parts book and I didn't see a rating, but I don't know. Can't believe it's more than 10 amp. However, had they had a fuse here where they're supposed to, and they shorted out up front, they would have just kept blowing the fuse, and then they could have figured why, and then avoided burning all their wires up. But that didn't happen. So it's an easy mistake to make. I'm sure I've done stupid things like that to myself. I know I have. So we learn from our mistakes. So anyway, we'll go from here. I loosened up the back wheel enough to slide it so I could get down in here and take a screwdriver and pry up these little tabs that hold the wire. And then I run the new wire back all the way, and it only went to about right there. It was short. So I decided to splice it here. And then I can heat shrink it. I got a piece of heat shrink right here already. Pull it up here once I get everything spliced. But so I kind of cut these at different lengths, so my splices will be not, these big crimps won't be laying all bulked up in one spot and not be able to get my heat shrink over it. And so I'll go ahead and I'll now cut these and get them spliced in there like so. Heat shrink that down and be good with, and then I won't have to rewire any back there, I guess, because doing it all here would have been easier to done it back there. But anyhow, if you ever get a chance to pick up a pair of these Klein crimpers, they work so much nicer than that kind right there. But if that's what you got, those work too. These just really work good. Okay, got it spliced and heat shrinked, and then I burn a hole in my heat shrink. So instead of undoing everything, I just went ahead and taped over it real good. So that's the way it is. And that horn wire up front, remember when we took it apart and didn't have the purple and the red wire? I think what I might do is use this, because it'll match. I can pick Probably orange for red and gray or something, I don't know, for purple. And then it'll have this same sheath over it, and it'll look nicer than just a couple of stupid wires that are too big. Anyway, so that's what I'll do later.